running on literally no sleep. I just got back from a show in Tampa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, let's see, panel content. Masquerade Ball, Silent Hill 101, that sounds like fun. Iron Artist, I bet that was good. Let's Dance, that was good. Funimation, that sounds really neat. High Rollers, Horrible Fan Fiction Theater, kind of want to go to that. I'm not in the A's. Great. A, B, C, D, and I'm not in there. Okay, so there's no description for this panel.
There is in the guidebook.
Is there? What have you guys? Thank you, madam. Learn the rules of drawing the human body with a concentration on breaking the rules for drawing in manga and anime. Yeah, I can take that. Cool. Thanks. So, here we go. No, I've done this a million times. Sweet, I'm on autopilot. Let's do this thing. So, yay, we got an extension cord so my computer doesn't die. How many people were here last year for the death of my old laptop? Yeah, there's a few. Witness my new beautiful baby. Enjoy basking in the Jeff Goldblum. Yes. So, new laptop specifically just for doing panels at shows. You're welcome. So, let's get this party started. You all want to know my password, huh? Wow. Nope. All right, so how many people in here have done panels with me before in the past? Raise your hands. Oh, there are a lot of newbies in here. Excellent, excellent. Have them oiled and brought to my room. So, for those of you who don't know, my name is Amelie Belcher. I'm a professional manga artist. That means I'm professionally poor. I draw manga for a living, animated manga. Yay. Oh, thank you, man. You're my hero. Yeah, everybody, tech. All right. Heroes of the convention. Queen's Wave. Queen's Wave. So I draw anime and manga for a living. I've been doing comics for about 10 years now. I was the illustrator of the yaoi manga Loud Snow, if anybody reads yaoi. Come on, we've all been 14 ladies, you know what I'm saying? So, and I do the 2 webcomics, The Real Life Adventures of Ami-chan, and the webcomic Bounty Hunters, which is now available for sale on Amazon.com, so go get that. Please go get that. I like a royalty check. Seriously, go get that. So those are the comics that I do, and I'm hired out by companies and individuals to do their product. And blah, 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 blah. Needless to say, I draw. But I used to teach high school art for 4 years. That many years. I was an assistant high school art teacher, so I'm going to give you a lot of information tonight. If I start just, going off the rails, let me know because I'm running on no sleep. Cons. Woo, cons! Cons! So, let's do this thing. Now, my screen looks real small, but so does that one. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So, my only concern is my drawing something here and it looks fine here and it looks all wonky up there, but I think we've got the same resolution going, so let's do it. The program you're going to see me working with today is Manga Studio. Manga Studio, they don't pay me to, show off their stuff. I just genuinely love this program. So if you guys are budding comic artists, this is the best $50 you will ever spend. Serial. Go get Manga Studio. There's a $200 version. Get the cheap version. I did 2 books and webcomics. Just with this program. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am?
Oh, sir. Sorry, you got the hair!
I am so sorry that I have such fabulous,
flowing, easy, breezy, beautiful. I'm sorry, go on. You had a bow! I saw long hair and a bow, and I was like... There we go. Man, okay.
Yeah, so... I lost my train of thought.
Manga Studio, best money you're ever gonna spend.
I also was with Photoshop too, but I'm you work with this one. Yo-ho!
Yeah.
We must pirate the booty.
Oh, no. Here's the thing with pirating software, all right? It's always better to go ahead and pay if you have the money to pay for the software for a multitude of reasons. I know my, speaking of which, I know my trial has expired. There will come times when you need to call tech support and they'll be like, okay, I need your serial number. You'll be like, you know that Keijin thing? Yeah, you do, buddy. Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Everybody, Dave. Hi, Dave.
Hi,
What?
We mentioned these banners up a long time ago, we just didn't have clips.
Oh, okay. He's putting banners up, you guys. Okay. So, the reason you want to do it is you'll have to call tech support at some point for little bitty tiny things that you think you can figure out, and then it's yeah, the internet was no help figuring that out. Yeah. Yahoo answers. So, crowdsource 4chan? Are you crazy. So, so you wind up having to, call tech support, and you never know what you're going to get when you download these things illegally. You never know what sort of little hidden bugs, and we're all like, oh no, that Pirate Bay community would never send me something bad. Sure they would, you guys. So in my opinion, it's always better to pay for the software. Now, you don't have to have Photoshop, Creative Cloud. You don't have to have Painter 13 or Painter 12 from Corel. You don't have to have the big bad boys of the art world to do things, but it helps. So if you have the money, throw it at it. But I've seen people create things with like GIMP and Paint Tool Sci that are blowing my mind. And Sci is really inexpensive. GIMP is free. The learning curve's a little high because it expects you to already know what you're doing with Photoshop. So there's that, but you're going to put a lot of time and effort into learning these programs. That being said, the programs that you see artists work with, and oh, you need this, no, you need that, keep in mind, it is all just a tool. It's all just tools. If you want to go out and make a comic book and you want to do the whole thing in ketchup from McDonald's, and every day you just take a picture of your napkin with the next panel drawn in ketchup, do it, man. You want to do a comic with you drawn in the mud in the backyard, do it, man. You want to do it in watercolor, do it. You want to do it in Sharpie, do it. This is just a tool, all right? So whenever somebody's like, oh, well, if you're not working with the greatest and latest of blah, 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 Corel, this, that, and the other, you're not a real artist. That's cute. So how many gallery showings have you had? Oh, I haven't had any shows yet. I'm just waiting for a little, angel funding to go through. So you've never actually done anything? No, not as such. No. So take that whole oh, you have to have the latest and greatest with a grain of salt. So let's get down to drawing. Oh, really, computer? Are you really going to do this right now? Okay, so let's click out of that. Near. 1 second, folks. I seem to be having just a little bit of technical difficulties. The TSA may very easily have broken my tablet the other day, which is bad because that's my livelihood. And also, I am new to Windows 8, so watch me fumble around on this, right? Oh boy. So, Windows 8, great. Where are the Windows 8 and program files and wake up. How do I find anything? Tablet? Wacom, professional, and this is what I'm looking for. Terrible. Where's my programs and features? Here we go. Probably. I don't know. Where is my Wacom?
Wait a minute. This is uninstall and change program.
Yeah, dang it. I hate you, Windows 8. I hate you with passion of 1,000 suns. Okay, so what you guys just saw was I was moving, I put my stylus down on my tablet, I move it around, nothing happens. 9 times out of 10, that's a problem with your preferences with your Wacom tablet. So if you ever have that happen, trust me, I spent 3 days on the phone with tech support. Once again, why you call tech support to figure this out. Now, what I'm trying to do is find my freaking programs, because that's no longer where it should be. Because Windows 8, sorry you guys.
I think it's on the little computer next to the file.
This one?
No,
this
next
one?
to it, yeah.
Yeah, seriously, do you want to allow the file to make change?
Huh.
User guide, you say?
No.
No.
No, here's what you do.
No. God, I hate you, Windows 8.
Hit start and start typing the name of the program you want.
Is this Windows 8?
Yes.
It's Windows
Dang
8.
it!
Now start typing the name of the program you want.
Where?
On the keyboard.
Oh.
On the keyboard, start typing.
Oh, there it is.
No way! Oh, dude, sweet skis. That's what I'm looking for. Thank you. Who was that? Yay. Yay, thank you. Yay, okay. Tablet driver was not found. You think? Okay. That's fun.
Have you tried turning it off, turning it back on?
Wacom, utility Wacom property. Oh, really? This is going to be real cute, real quick, you guys.
Okay, usually my tablet does that when I travel with it. Just if you unplug it and plug it back in, and it usually works.
Let's give that a shot. Also, like I said, the TSA made very, there it goes as soon as I remove. So if you ever have a problem like that, try unplugging it, plugging it back in. But also, if your tablet isn't, responding and it's, tried plugging it, unplugging it in, let's see if that fixed it. A lot of times it's just a misconnect and you just remove your preferences and let's see, yeah! in. Okay, so all you have to do is unplug it, plug it back in, and then remove your preferences. And all that does is make your tablet go, wow. Okay. It just kind of resets things. So, cool beans. You're in my wait microphone. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, cool, because I'm losing my voice and I don't want to like be all like, if you can't hear me, but okay. So, this thing is a concentration on human anatomy, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let me do my human anatomy spiel before we really get started. The thing with drawing anime and manga, how many people in here have had art teachers say, don't bring that into my classroom, I don't want to see any anime or manga up in my art room? All right, we got a few. Okay, here's the deal. They're right. They're right. And I know you're going like, I liked her a second ago. Here's the deal. As somebody who taught, there are certain things that your teachers are trying to give you, and these are building blocks. These are tools for the little toolbox in your brain, right? Now, if you've never drawn before and you have no real understanding of basic human anatomy and the proportions and how this machine that is our body works, and how if you move one shoulder, then that means your hips have to move to, take care of all the different little things that change with simple movements. If you haven't learned the basics of your anatomy, then what you're gonna do if you just try to jump straight into drawing anime and manga is cripple yourself. Because what anime and manga is a very simplified 2D representation of an incredibly complex 3-dimensional object, meaning us, right? And until you fully understand that 3-dimensional object, how are you gonna simplify it? Right? Does that make sense? Right? So your art teachers aren't, there's probably a couple out there all like, that's not real art, really? Because I'll have you know it's the #1 selling form of art in the world right now, woman. But, and yes, I've met people like that who are just like, it's not art. I'm like, I beg to differ, madam. I'm sorry if tenure has caused you to lose the gaze of sparkle upon the world, but anime and manga very much is real art. The reason why they're also saying don't bring that into the classroom is because they don't want you crippling yourself, and they're trying to give you these tools to work from. So like if you were to say, get a contract and somebody's like, hey, I like these drawings in your sketchbook, cool beans, here's, a couple thousand, I want you to, do me a mock-up, they want to see a full comic sort of situation. They want to see something that you're presenting to them. And let's say panel 1 is so-and-so walks in the room and picks up a Coke can. And you're all like, okay, well, if you don't know how to draw hands, first of all, how are they going to pick it up, right? You got to learn how to draw hands. There's no way around it. You got to learn how to draw hands. I looked out, the first book I had to do was about Eskimos, right? So they got to, or Inuits, and they got to wear mittens. I was like, mitten hands, yes! Sweet skis. Maybe 20 panels with actual hands and the whole thing. I was like, so, but the point is I know how to draw hands. I just lucked out. So, but like so-and-so picks up a Coke can. Well, you're thinking, okay, it's a Coke can. Yeah, have you actually ever drawn a Coke can? Right, well, it's a cylinder. Okay, what is it beyond a cylinder? Because if you pick up a Coke can, it's like, yes, it is a cylindrical object, but how tall is it? At the bottom, there's a concave divot, and then it comes back onto a little flat surface, and that comes back around to a little lip on the bottom. That in itself is concave as well. You go back up to the top, we've got another concave surface, comes up into another little lip, that goes down in, there's a little rim around there, then it comes back up into that low platform, but it's slightly curved. The little oblong-shaped weird hole is not in the center where you think it'd be, it's closer to one edge. Why? So we could drink it. Then you got the little tab, How does light reflect off the edge? How does it refract off the edge? What's going on? Does it absorb light? Does it cast light? Does it cast a shadow? Does it cast actual, light back onto the shadow? Blah, 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 blah. And that's like stuff you don't actually think about until you've sat down to draw a Coke can. Now, once you've done it, it's in there, right? That little toolbox I was talking about, it's in there now. But you can't pull what you have not put in. Does that make sense? Yeah? Yeah? Have I lost anybody? Okay, cool. So the point is, when your teachers say, don't bring it in my classroom, respect. Respect. All right, they're just trying to, they got like 30 kids in this class. Most of them think they're going to get an easy A, whatever. But, respect. Because they're just trying to give you tools from which to build your skill level. Now, I taught for 4 years, and I had a set of twins, freshman through senior year. Let's call them Sierra and Samantha. So Samantha took all the tools we were giving on board, and she learned how to, look for light and form and texture and shade and shadow and and all those other things you'll learn about in art class. This is art class, screw it. So, but the other sister, all she did was draw the prince from Bashigi Yogi. She loved that prince from Bashigi Yogi. Oh my God, I've never even seen Fushigi Yugi and I hate it. So, and like every class, we start with a diagnostic drawing. So we put out a bowl of fruit that's been hot glued together so it doesn't move, and everybody gets around and we have them draw the fruit. So that way we as teachers know the level to which we need to teach a whole room of kids, right? Right. So it's like, okay, cool. What does little Sierra do? She draws the prince from Fushigi Yugi. It's like, oh God, we've got no talk here. Great. It's great. It's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be great. 4 years. Sweet. So she never once put into the whatever thing we were teaching at that time. She was like, "Now we got to fix what she gave you." It's like, okay, your sister is over here painting a sphere. All right, it's a very simple thing, but it's very important painting a sphere. All right, and she's like, "Yeah, what are you doing?" "I'm painting the prince like that." Yeah. And yes, she was very good. She was very good at drawing this one prince in this one pose, this one way, right? So 4 years goes by, and we put out the same bowl of fruit to do another diagnostic drawing. And then we show everybody who has lasted 4 years with us, this is what you did freshman year, this is what you do now. Worth it? And they go, yeah, dude, yeah. And 9 times out of 10, we see vast improvements. So we're walking through, and it's like, oh, little Jimmy Joe Bob, you're doing so good. You got that reflected light coming up off of those grapes. Good job, man. Oh, little Peter, you're doing so good. Look at the real texture in that orange. It looks really good. Oh, man, Samantha, you're doing so good. I can't say enough. Sierra, what the hell, man? And she's like, I drew. I'm like, yeah, the person, yeah, I know. You're supposed to be drawing fruit. What happened? He ate it. I was like, that was cute once, dude. That was cute once. So she never improved. Her skill level was the exact same it was the day she walked in 4 years ago. Meanwhile, her twin sister through the roof, just because she took the time to, like, do the assignments. So when your teacher says, don't bring this junk into my classroom, it's probably because A, they're tired of having this argument, and B, they really do want you to take these tools on board that will help you in the long run. Okay, that was my teacher spiel. I'm done. There we go. Now, let's learn how to draw people bits. Yay, people bits. I'm gonna need my layers. I'm gonna need my arrange palette, initiate. There they are. Okay. So sweet skills. Now, like I said, I've only turned this thing on about 8 times since I got it, so none of my preferences have been saved. So we're just gonna wing it. Let's do it. Why not? So, blah 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 blah. Sometimes I do this panel that's called "How Not to Draw." But we're running a little bit late on time, so I'm just going to go ahead and launch straight into how to draw. Now, let's open this up to more of a question and answer sort of thing, because I normally just start with like the head and work my way down. But I'm sure you guys have tons of questions. So what problems do you have? What problems do you come across? Yes, you in the back.
Mainly just with positioning of shoulders relative to the chest and such.
Dude, shoulders to me are one of the most important pieces of drawing the physical body. And the reason for that is that your body is a machine. I'm going to stand up just to show you some junk. I know this is a drawing panel. I've yet to draw anything, but your body is a machine. So like if I'm standing just straight like this, I'm like that. Okay, well, this is just a straight on full frontal view like this. But if I kick one knee out, and I know it's hard to see because I'm wearing a skirt, but if I kick a single knee out like 2 things happen, right? Well, 3. 1, my knee popped out, but now my hips have gone from a straight line to bam. This one's lower, this one's higher, so we've got this diagonal line. To compensate for that weight mass, the shoulders have moved like this. So I have one shoulder higher and one shoulder lower. This is called contrapposto. 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 Say it with me. Contrapposto. Yay. Cool. You guys are in college now. That's an expensive word. So because your body has to compensate for the amount of weight that's moving around, I'm talking skinny people, fat people, all kinds of shapes, you are still a machine. So like if I were to like lean back, all kinds of different things happen. Yeah, my shoulders went back, but if my hips didn't go forward to compensate for that balance of weight coming down, because gravity is always affecting, then if I just went, I'd just fall down. But if I go, then suddenly I'm balanced. I know this looks real dumb, but all the weight is balanced, right? So if you like lean forward without sticking your butt out, if you just went, you would fall down. And if you go, well, suddenly the weight is balanced. So you have to keep in mind the balance. The shoulder to me is what leads that sort of motion, and it can tell a lot about what kind of action, what sort of feeling the character you're drawing is having. So for example, let's say I had a dude sitting on a couch. Just real quick, I'm just going to sketch in. This is a dude, let's say he's at 3/4 view, there he is. He's going to be sitting on a couch, And he's like super rigid, he's waiting for like a business proposal or something, right? He's like, here are my shoulders and I am very much sitting, here's my hip girdle down here and I'm going to be sitting so politely, oh yes sir, I am sitting, yes please give me this job, I would love nothing more than to have this job, oh God, don't fire me, sweat, 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 sweat. Alright? But everything is very straight across here, his hips are also very straight, they're on the same sort of plane. But let's say I've got a dude sitting right next to him who's all like, I got fired today and I don't even care. Well, at that point, all kinds of different things happen. Probably the head is going to hang a little lower. You might be looking downward. The neck is going to come out from there, but then his shoulders will be sort of bowed, like hunched back over. So maybe he's like got one shoulder like lower than the other, so we'll put one shoulder up here and have like an arm coming out, and his hand will be over here on his knee or whatever. So that all gets pushed back. His hips, there's his leg, sort of thing. I'm drawing very quickly, so if you need me to slow down, let me know. This is all very sketchy. We'll get into some more detail later. So this guy's, and then his other arm's just kind of hanging off. There's his hand. All right, but like the collarbone is, of course, this bone right here, right? Your clavicle, right there. Yes. Just marking the line of the collarbone and then the line of the sternocleidomastoid, which is this muscle in the neck. It's my favorite muscle in the whole human body, right here. If I turn my head, you can see it. It pops out, that thing, right? It runs from behind your ear, the base of your skull, down to your clavicle right here. You have one on either side. And just drawing that one line can tell your audience everything you need to know about where the neck is, what's going on, blah, 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 without being all like, every muscle DBZ. So here we go. Here's our shoulder down here, and he's going to be like, oh, I lost my job, whatever, I'm smoking a cigarette, oh, like, bad times, bad times. So the difference between these two characters, which I drew very smart, is do you see how like I had to shift all kinds of weight to make this look natural, to make it look like he's actually throwing weight down, hunching those shoulders over? If I were to say be drawing somebody who was running, let's say we got a superhero sort of character, he's running directly at us. We start with the head. Just very quickly hack in the shape of a face. Doesn't need to look pretty, just needs to be. Ears. Let's do big ears, bud. Okay. He's a superhero! Superhero! I can't spell, it's probably not spelled right. Anyway, here's our little dude, right? And he's gonna be, let's get rid of some of that, it looks a little nuts. Okay, just a little bit. So, here's our dude, he's got a chin, he's got a face, whatever, he's got bits. My face, hair. Okay. So he's like running towards us, right? So if somebody's running towards you, your body is a machine. So have you ever noticed when like you're walking, you move in opposites? Like you take a step forward, your left foot goes out, your right arm goes out, but your left arm goes back, your right foot goes back. So same thing when you're running, you're a machine. And a coach once told me that if I need to run faster, all I have to do is pump my arms harder. I was like, oh my God, it works. And then I'd pass out at the end. Like, bam. So that means that if our character is running towards us, once again, you guys, you are your own best model. Don't feel dumb about getting up and like checking yourself in the mirror. I mean, I've got a mirror next to where I work just so I can like hold up my hand and be like, okay, yeah, thumbs on the right side. Okay, good. All right. Okay, good. All right. Okay. That woman in the mirror keeps looking at me funny. So if like somebody's running at you like this, your lower shoulder is going to be wherever, whatever arm's coming at you. The higher one's going to be this. More than likely that you're going to have an arm in the front and an arm in the back because we're that machine, all right? So that means that you've got something going on with your hips. If the shoulder here is coming forward and this one's going back, that means the opposite hip is going to be doing the same thing. So this hip comes forward while this one in the hip girdle is going backwards. Does that make sense? So it's an opposite, it's an exchange of weights. The whole point of this is to keep your butt standing upright, okay? We evolved to like run like this. It's cool. Well, not like this. So, that being said, we need to figure out what the shoulder girdle is going to do. So very quickly, I'm going to sketch in the shape of the shoulder girdle. Now, this sort of oval shape I'm making, it's very important to think in 3 dimensions. Reading anime and manga, we tend to want to think in terms of like pretty line, and that line equals an arm or some hair or something. But I guarantee you that the artists who drew these things know their anatomy and are thinking in 3 dimensions, all right? So when we sketch, think in 3 dimensions. So right now, I'm drawing not only the line of the clavicle here, but also like the shape of the trapezius, which is this muscle right here, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, the traps, right here, yeah? Cool beans, right? So, neck probably gonna come down right there, sternocleidomastoid, so here's gonna be our collarbone coming up through there, and that'll be our deltoid back here. And sketch, so here's gonna be our arm. Probably our fist is gonna be super forward shortened, so our fist is gonna look much bigger in comparison. That'll be our elbow, like that, and then knuckles, like that, and then meh, just very quickly going this sort of shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I have to count fingers every time. I once sold a piece of Naruto art to like a year before somebody went, Naruto has 6 fingers. I was like, variant edition. All right, so here be our bicep there, and then we got our pectorals, and of course, because we are a symmetrical animal, you can go ahead and like do that plumb line, so you know that like the pecs will like change through here like that. Other arm probably going to be behind us like that. Fist is probably going to be somewhere in this sort of general area. Just sketch that in real quick. So forearm coming forward like this. Right. So yay, it's fist man. It's full of fists. Fists. Cool. Now the question is, how do we know what to do with the hip girdle with that? I'm telling you guys, I'm running on no sleep, I'm sorry. So that means that we're gonna have a leg coming forward on this end like that. So we're gonna bring our hip girdle, we can make our line like this. So if our shoulders are doing this, like that, then our hip girdle is gonna be doing something like this, right? They're no longer parallel lines because this guy is not standing straight, he's running forward. So suddenly, all kinds of things are happening like that. Just lines everywhere. Does that make any kind of sense? Yeah. Are you guys following me? Okay, thank Christ. Okay, so, you'd be surprised, sometimes I just get one person who's just like, no. I'm like, maybe you need some advanced panels. So we're gonna have this hip coming back here, so his leg's gonna be disappearing way behind us, way back there somewhere, whereas this leg's gonna be coming forward, probably have a knee somewhere about there. He's a big muscle guy. Here be his crotchety area. Yes, he's wearing pants, who I assuming. Look at that, pants, so many pants. All the pants he has. Knee would be back there, and then calf. And then tiny foot. Oh, look, I'm like Rob Liefeld, not drawing feet. Oh, check that out. Oh. Like 3 comic people got that joke, okay. And then I got calf, and then foot. Okay. So do you see what I'm talking about with this figure? Does this make any sense? I know this is real rough and it's real, but that makes sense. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, next question. That was a good question. Next question. Who has a question about how to draw anything? Yes, you.
Hands.
Hands. Oh, hands. We all want to get like super scared about hands. Here's the deal about hands. All the information you need is right there at the end of your own wrist. Right? And I hear people go, but Miss Amelie, that's a left hand. I really need to learn how to draw a right hand. Oh, that's a shame. Whatever are you going to do? So that's all the information you need. You are your own best model, okay? So looking at the hand, here's the thing. Especially with the hands and the eyes, there are 2 rules to keep in mind. Less is more, all right? Learn what it is. Learn its function, its scientific anatomical function. Take all the romance out of it. Because with hands, oh, these are the delicate, beautiful hands, the ballet-like little aloha, oi, just beautiful dancing hands that hold the newborn baby's head, and the eyes of our lover, the eyes are the window to the soul, that look into the eyes of the newborn baby and go, my, what an ugly baby. But we impart so much of our own emotion on things like hands and eyes, when that's the worst possible choice you could do. Because what you do at that point is you get frustrated and you push harder on that pencil, and you never want to push harder on that pencil when you're frustrated, because you will make mistakes and choices, all right? And you don't want to be making those mistakes and choices angry. Don't draw angry, don't draw angry. Don't drive angry, don't draw angry. So with hands and with eyes, we'll talk about eyes after this, because I think that's something we should talk about as well. With hands, let's break it down, all right? This is a tool, all right? This is a really useful tool. It was made for going, ow. That's what it's made for, okay? It was made for this going here, and then like later going, hey, cool, made weapon, cool. Now I have more things to go, ow, all right? So the point of a hand is that it grasps. That's all it's meant to do, is grasp, all right? So we've got this big meaty surface right here, right? We've got two major muscle masses. This little weird thing up here, but these two major muscle masses, big old thumb muscle, big old whatever the heck muscle that is over there, right? And then on the back, it's this lovely flat surface. Now you're like, what about those really cool lines you get when you're like, it's Superman? Yeah, worry about those later, all right? Detail, people love to go, oh my God, there's so much detail. Detail is a sham. Until you know what you're doing in the larger picture, detail is just a way to take up space without knowing what it is you're doing. So don't worry about detail, worry about the larger piece, okay? So let's take, I'm gonna draw my own hand. Right now, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna think I can't watch me. So, my New World's just slipped out, you guys, sorry about that. So, draw my hand. I'm from New Orleans, hi everybody, yay. So, all right, so what I'm gonna do is look for the major masses. Now, first and foremost, okay, well here's my wrist, round about there. I got a little wrinkle right there, getting up in the ears. Don't judge me, all right? This is going to be where I start the major mass of my hand. All right, I'm going to look at my thumb area. I'm going to come up. I got this big area here. Then I come back down. Ta-da! Was that hard? No. But that's the biggest mass of the hand. This area right here. Look for the major masses. Don't get bogged down in, what about the fingernails? What about them? Don't worry about stuff like that right now. Just worry about the larger piece in general. All right, now that I've got this, I know that I've got this larger sort of muscle right here, and I've got this smaller muscle right here, and then I've got these little liney things like that, yay. That took no time at all. Why? Because I'm not wasting time going, well, there's a wrinkle, and there's a wrinkle, and there, oh, but I want my readers to be able to like read my palm sign when they read my manga. No, you don't. You don't want to be wasting time on that. So what you're gonna do now is you're gonna go, okay, the thumb. People are like, well, the thumb is really hard. The thumb is not really hard. Let me show you how to draw a thumb, right? Looking at my own thumb, I'm gonna go, okay, it's about yay that far away from my finger, and then, okay, here's my joint, okay, and then there, and then, all right, and then there, like that. There's my thumb. There's my thumb. You know what the thumb is? It's a check mark. There. See that? It's super simple. The thumb is a check mark. It's a really simple thing. Now I'm going to show you a trick for drawing it. Ooh, it's very big. Let me make that much smaller. Edit, transform, transform. Let's make it. Edit, transform, scale. Yeah. Okay, cool. Cool. Now I can draw fingers. Cool, cool, cool. We're gonna move that right there. Okay, let's draw some fingers. Now, what about fingers? Fingers are really hard. Okay, well, yeah, there are a ton of tips and tricks for drawing the fingers. Like, if you like do this with your hand and you look at your fingertips, most of the time your ring and your index and middle finger are going to be almost the same height. More than likely, your ring finger will be slightly shorter. Your important finger, your birdie finger, the one you drive with, that one will always be taller. All right. Your pinky, the top of your pinky should 90% of the time, and this is just a general sort of thing with most people's hands. There's nothing wrong with you if none of this applies, okay? You're just fine, you mutant. The top of that pinky generally ends at the line of the first joints on your ring finger. The joints, that little line, also should line up around about with the same joint there. So these rules go on and on and on and on, like I'm saying. You could do this with the eyes and the face, and what's important is learning the major masses. So this is my easy way out of like, worrying about the fingers too much. I look at my fingers and I go, okay, well I know that round about the middle, in this general area, is where my important finger is, the one I drive with, all right? And then over here, I know there's going to be my index finger and then my ring finger, and hanging off the end over here is going to be my pinky finger, right? So now I've established where these fingers are gonna live. Well, how tall are they? I mean, I could go whoop and make really bitty, tiny, short fingers, but I've got a problem. I can't have a foot-long hot dog because I can't hold it. My hands are so small. My mama did when she was pregnant. So instead, or I can make them like way too freakishly long, and now I look like, you know what I'm talking about, yaoi hands. You know what I'm talking about. And no, we don't want those. We don't want those. My mama smoked when she was pregnant. Now I have long fingers. So what we're going to do is establish where we want about the tips of our fingers to be, knowing that the middle finger is going to be the tallest. This arc that I'm making, I know that it's going to be the tallest point in this arc, and the rest is just going to follow in a curve down. Okay, cool beans. I'm going to find about that middle joint on the finger and go, it lives around about there on my hand. Sweet excuse. Cool. And okay, look at this finger, that's where okay, then this one goes like that, and then this one goes like that. And all I'm doing is like breaking out where the fingers separate, and then going, okay, cool. I'm just gonna make a rounded top there, bring that down to meet that, go back up, and around the top there, bring that back down, and around the top there, and bring that back down, and around the top there, and bring that back down. Okay, now my thumb looks just a little bit big, so I'm gonna go back and fix some of this. Bam. That is a fairly simple, fairly quick hand, and now I could go in with like a darker lines that make this look like a man's hand, a woman's hand, a few nails, girl. Now I got my acrylics on, I look good. Yeah. Okay. Or I could go in and like really beef these suckers up. Now to beef up a hand, or like there's a rule in drawing. It's we call it like drawing B's and drawing S's. So when you look at your finger, everybody do this. Right? Notice that the top of your finger compared to the bottom of your finger, the top of it looks fairly flat. That's the area where the bone is closest to the surface. Anytime you have an area of the body where the bone is going to be closer to the surface, you're going to get more of a straight line. Now, straight lines are an illusion that we impart on the world around us. There are very few straight lines actually in the human body, but for the sake of drawing, yeah, this is a pretty straight line. But look at the bottom. Notice this sort of a B sort of shape. There's a lot more softness. If I were to sketch that just now, we got a fairly flat top, and then that first joint, and then that second joint. I'm really kind of exaggerating, but do you see that sort of fluffy shape, that meaty, muscly, fluffy bottom, right? That is a great rule to draw from. So straight lines and then soft sort of roundness on the other. And you can do that with your fingers. So if I'm like going with my fingers, then I'm gonna have one side that's like way straighter, and then one side that's got just a little bit more shape going on. This one because it's right at us, and I can be like, I got meshes, I got a mesh, and the veins popping through, meshes. But so like if you're drawing your hand from your side, like if I were like drawing my hand like this, once again the first thing I do, let me erase some of this nonsense. Okay, so like the first thing I do once again is I look for the largest shape, which is going to be the main muscly meat of the inner hand. What's the thumb doing? It's just kind of hanging out down here. That's cool, thumb, you can do that, I'll allow it. All right, cool beans. Now I've got this fold of skin right here, and then the shape of the muscle and the shape of the skin there. Here's the knuckle. The knuckle is, going to be that part that pops up like that, right? Cool beans, yeah. And that's the part we all want to like focus on because it's cool. That's where punches come from knuckles, yeah. But you really want to spend just as little time as possible. So here's my finger coming out, and then it comes back down. Yes, there are 3 joints in the finger, but I really don't like to spend too much time drawing them all. Like up here, I could have gone ahead and accented this joint up here, but I don't have to because I'm going to do it with this fold right here. Do you see how like drawing that softness underneath makes all the difference? Right, so we got a straight line, soft line, straight line, soft lines. Do we see that? Does that make sense, you guys? Yeah? Is there? Okay, who here who thinks they're being helped right now? Okay, thank God. Okay. All right. So do we have any other questions about the hand before we move on to the eyes? No? Yes.
You said something about drawing S's.
S's more applies to like longer parts of the body. So like if I were drawing a Baba Boom lady person, like I would start like here'd be her head sort of situation, and let's say she is like running towards us. I want to keep in mind this sort of S sort of shape that maybe I want her having. So this lovely curve, right? So here would be her chest girdle. The shoulder girdle would be about here. Neck comes down. All right. Then the back comes down like that. Here would be her hip girdle, right? So let's have her kind of running towards us. So we're going to raise this shoulder over here, lower this one, raise that hip. And here's going to be the first part of her leg, coming like that. And then coming down, her little feetsies down here. So once again, notice what I'm doing here. We got more of a straight line. Once again, straight lines being something we've imposed on the drawing. And we've got this lovely sort of softness. And we refer to this sort of line as like an S line or a B line. It's this curve, it's this continuing flow, this shape back here. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, sweet. So once again, we're going to come up with a straight line behind where the muscle lives, always where the muscle lives. We're going to make that a much softer, rounded sort of surface. And there's her little footsies. So she's like, we'll have her like, I run like a girl. I saw a mouse. Eek. Oh no. Boobies. And yes, look, she's wearing a bow. Look, she's a Sailor Scout. Yes, she's dressed. Nobody sue. So, here's the thing. Any parents in the room or anything, if your child is going to start learning to draw, they're going to start learning human anatomy, have no fear. Learning human anatomy takes all the fun out of human anatomy. So, let them go nuts. So yeah. I saw a mouse. It's in love. And she's all like, dude, no. No, she don't think so. I'm a hair, no. Oh, no, my bangles, no. Lost all my jewelry, Sailor boots. So, notice also how quickly I'm working. When you work and you like put your line down, you're all like, I've only got one line left in the entire universe. Oh God, if I ruin it, that's it. 4 lines. This is not a contour drawing. All right, you do not need to use a single line. In fact, you can use all the lines you want. That's why God made erasers. Go nuts. And thing is, when you are confident in the line you are putting down, and the only way you're going to get confident is by sketching and working quickly. When you are confident of what it is you're putting on the paper, that reads as confidence to your audience, okay? So when you go, yeah, this is what that looks like, your audience goes, well, yeah, that's what that looks like. God, I see it right there. It's confident lines, son. You're like, I know, right? Dude, nice drawing, I know, right? Sailor Moon, son. Hardcore, son. All right, so does that answer your question about like, do we all understand, like the closer the skin is to the bone, the more of a flat sort of surface you'll have, but like the farther away it is, like the rounder a sort of shape you'll get? Yeah? Love it is. What is that? What is that, you guys? What is that? Okay. Don't feel bad, ladies. Even Christina Applegate has that. She is like this thin, okay? So, what is that? I don't even know. What is that? So, in Australia, that's called a flub-a-dub. I love you, Australia. So, makes me feel good about having flub-a-dubs. So, what we're gonna do? We were gonna do eyeballs. Eyeballs, okay. Once again, we put way too, we only have 10 minutes left, so this will work out just fine. We put way too much emotion into the human eye. Let's break this down. Let's take this noise and remove all of the romance behind it, because it's the window to the soul. It's, you look into your lover's eyes, you look into the baby's eyes, you look into the eyes of God. I don't know. You look at, just eyes are so important. And yes, because the way our brain works, eyes are very important. When you are, in a museum and you're looking at portrait work, the first thing you look for, whether you know it or not, are eyes. When you see a human-like figure in a painting or in a movie, the first thing you do is look for eyes. It is something that we are attuned to doing whether we know it or not. It's a hindbrain response. Now, back at the turn of the 19th century, when people would die in the middle of having their portraits done, it was classically considered good taste to not paint the eyes. So you'll walk through a gallery. I went through a John Singer Sargent gallery once. Oh God, don't get me started on John Singer Sargent. Holy crap. Life-size portraits, best in his field, wonderful, wonderful painter. And you walk through the portrait gallery, it's this whole family. Well, you know, war breaks out in the middle of having these portraits done, and suddenly half the family is just darkness. Very dark room they're standing in, it's just them. They sat for the portrait initially, but they died before it was done, so the eyes are just super darkened, like there's a heavy light above them, so you don't see the eyes. Well, yeah, it's a figure, and you just passed like 200 other figures. Why is this one making you super creepy? Because you can't see the eyes, because this person died before it was done. So the eyes are very important to us as animals, but as you, as an artist, take all of that nonsense, put it in the trash bin, don't even worry about it, because what the eyes are, ladies and gentlemen, are about golf ball sized gelatinous orbs that sit in a square-shaped hole in your face. You got two of them, all right? These things have muscles in them that contract and open an iris, the black part of your eye. That is what allows light into the eye, where it hits your retinas, where it flips upside down, which your brain reads as color. But the muscles are back there controlling it, so your eyes are flicking around. What gives the eye its shape is the muscle attachments around the eye and the orbital sockets, and the way the skin folds over it. So, I need that. So, that's my friend. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by sketching just a round-shaped ball-like object. Now, when you're drawing, I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again, think in 3 dimensions. Don't go, I drew a circle, because a circle is a flat object. We turn it on its side, it's just a flat little piece of paper, all right? But the more you turn a circle, the more it becomes an ellipse. And that will become important in just a moment. But the eyeball is a ball, it is a sphere. It has 3 dimensions, it is round. And because it is a round object sitting in a hole in your face on either side, things have to happen. So your eyelids, right, let's say this is where your eyelids are gonna connect. That is a split in the skin of your face, right? There are muscles that control them. Your eyelashes are there to keep junk from falling in your eyes, right? We go, oh my God, that's pretty. Oh my God. Girl, do I look good? Girl, do I look good? Do I look good? That's there to keep you from getting crap in your eyes, okay? We impart all these things onto the body that's like, oh my God, girl, that looks so good. It's like, girl, I know, right? But take away all of that and just look at it for what it is and what it does. What is the function and purpose of what you're drawing? Trust me, this will make your life way easier later, because then once you know what it is, you know how to manipulate it, right? All right, cool. So the eyelid, in anime and manga, generally it's like, I have huge eyes, ooh, it's so big, I have all the eyelashes, all of them, and it's terrible. Or like you can have like a super scary character, and he's like super BA, and he's like, yeah, I'm cool, I'm Rudy Kitchen, I'm the Hitokiri Potter's time, man, I'm so BA, oh, I got tiny pupils, it's scary, wow. Look at my eyebrows, way down here. You know, so these are all very stylized eyes, but they don't really tell us what's going on within the eye socket, right? Now I'm going to leave this here because I want you guys to see what I'm about to do in a minute. But what's happening, because this skin is folding over a round surface, it must compensate for the fact it's sitting on a round shape. Imagine taking a tennis ball and taking a piece of like t-shirt fabric and folding it over, all right? So there's a thickness to the eyelid, and it's following the shape of the eyeball. So we're gonna make it follow the shape of that eyeball, right? So this is where we get the classic shape of that lemon-shaped eye. Like you see it when you're like a little kid, you learn to draw eyes like, it's an eye, yay! Right? And you see this like, you know, all over the place throughout human history. It's like, okay, I drew a pretty eye, it's so pretty, yay! Or we add a few of, you know, like these thingums, like this, and we get like, you know, Egyptian-looking stuff, eye of Ra. This particular shape of eye exists in pretty much every culture around the world, right? So don't feel bad if you've been drawing these little just perfectly lemon-shaped eyes, because this is the place to start. The lids fold over the eye. I'm going to draw them fairly thick here. This darkness represents the thickness of that eyelid. You see that? Cool beans? Yeah? So the eyeball still exists back here, right? It's not like the rest of it's just gone away because you can't see it, right? It's like, oh, I can feel it. Oh, it's in my eyelid. Oh, it's dry. Now, this line that you see above anime characters' eyes all the time, and even with like Disney characters, that represents the line where the skin folds back into the skull. It's that little crease when you like roll your eye back. The skin goes back in there, and then we've got our brow bone up here with their eyebrow living on it, all right? And then when you get older, like me, you start getting like the saggy baggy thing going on, so you can like just add a few extra lines to give an older person just like that. Do you see? But for now, I want you guys to take a look at the iris and the pupil, all right? Now, the color part of the eye is the iris, and pupil is the part where the light goes in and out, right? So you generally want to leave I like to leave just a little bit of white at the bottom, just so my characters are always kind of gazing up, kind of like, hey, what's up, Thoughts? You're all right, Thoughts, you're all right. But like, if you can see like the top of the whites of the eyes, like that, that means the character is going like that. If like you can see the bottom of the whites, they're going and looking up. So how much white is exposed around the iris at any given time is a direction of where the eye is going and how the character is feeling. How big the pupil is also an indication of how the character is feeling. Do you guys remember Hunchback of Notre Dame? Yeah. Remember Esmeralda? How she had those tiny little pupils? A lot of people did not like her as a character, and it all boils down to the fact she had tiny pupils. Tiny pupils come across as unfriendly, untrustworthy. There have been multiple tests done with like kindergarten students, and they take a picture of the exact same person, and they Photoshop the pupil small on one and big on the other, and that's the only difference, and they tell them they're twins. One's a good twin, one's a bad twin. Which one is it? Every time those little kids will pick the one with the tiny pupils. So when you're drawing a villain character, keep like the pupils like small. Just like having this small pupil is very intimidating. You see that? But the bigger you make the pupil, that area, and this area I'm not coloring in, that represents like the white of the little spark of, light reflecting on the eye. You want to do like one of those, maybe two. Don't go nuts. If you get too Sailor Moon, it starts to look real weird, so you don't want to go too nuts. So the bigger the pupil, the more friendly the eye. Did we see that? You guys saw the difference just then? All right, cool beans. So with eyelashes, once again, these things are there just to keep crap from falling in your eye. Instead of going, what? It's here, and drawing a million eyelashes, and we've all done it, myself included. Instead of doing that, try drawing the shape of the eyelash using a thicker line. And maybe let me make a larger brush. Maybe just a few kicking off. But just a thicker line will give the audience all the information it really needs. So from here, I can make any shape I wanted to. I could, lower that lid and make it sort of somebody who's got a bit more weight on them in life. They've been through that, they have seen some stuff, I could like drop this down like this and have like a real droopy eye. I could, but it all starts from the fact that there's a ball back there and skin must curve around it. Once you understand that, you're good to go. Now when the eye is seen from the side, and I want to do this very quickly, but we're running out of time. If the eye is seen from the side, and let's say this is the connection point of the eyelid there, and here's where it's going to come back up into the brow bone here. Let's say this is our nose over there, cool beans. So here's our eye, here's the bottom of our eyelid, okay? Now, remember what I said about like a circle is just like a flat circle, when you turn to the side it becomes an ellipse? Well, the color part of your eye, the iris and the pupil, they, for all intents and purposes, are a circle. They're not a round object. So when you turn your eye to the side, the shape of that circle is going to change. So when seen from the side, yes, it's a circle, but you're only going to see that much of it. Does that make sense? All right, you'd be surprised how many people are all like, I drew my eye and I don't get why it is not working right. It's like, well, he's looking at you this way, dude. Super creepy. He's got lazy eye, dude. He's got lazy eye. Okay, so does that make sense, you guys? Did that help? Okay. We've got time for like one more super fast question. Anybody have a super fast question about art and drawing in general? Anybody? Yes.
Wrinkles on clothing?
Wrinkles on clothing. That's an excellent question, and it's a super fast one to answer. Once again, I always draw my characters in the nude, and when I say in the nude, I mean just a base figure. I'm not drawing any fun parts. I'm just drawing a base nude figure. Why? Because I need to know what the clothing is going to sit on. And until I know what the body is doing, how do I know how clothing is going to hang and pull? Now, let's say I've got a duder. I duder. You'll be my duder. All right, you're my duder right now. Let's have his neck doing this. Let's have him with the shoulder up like this. Here's his pectoral. Clavicle is going to be like this. Trapezius does that. Deltoid over here. Let's have him with an arm like that. And we're going to have, okay, whatever. He's just doing something with his hand. All right. So here's our duder over here. Hi, duder. Okay. Okay, cool. Now, let's say we need to put a shirt on this guy. Well, he's got all kinds of motion going on in him right now. So first I'm going to decide what kind of shirt I want. V-neck, cool. All right, now how far down on the neck does his shirt come? About there, that's great. Cool, but now we've got the fact that here's this muscle that I've drawn, so the shirt sits on top of that. So we're going to draw just a little up and down. Tell him I said, hey. I like to make it just a little bit thicker so that you can see the difference between clothing and arm. But now we've got the chest. Now this arm up here is pulling upwards. That means there's going to be tension, right? Tension in that shirt. Wherever the tension is coming from are where the lines are going to radiate from. So like if I had, if I was like, here's my hand, here's a hand, blah, 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 it's holding a towel, right? The tension is coming from here, from where it's being held, which means the lines of drapery are going to radiate from that point of tension and come out. Right, and then from there you can make it a once again, thinking in 3 dimensions, and just connect up through there, thinking in 3 dimensions. See that? Does that make any sense? Yeah. Does that make any sense? See, once you figure out where the point of tension is, that's where you know where to radiate your lines from. So that means that because this is being pulled from his armpit, that means that this is going to be higher over here and lower over here because it's being pulled back that way. Once again, look at your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your uncles, anyone around the room. Just look at, how their clothing pulls when it's being pulled upon by the points and arcs of the body. So like if I were like, if I were wearing a regular t-shirt and not this frou-frou girly thing, and like I would like, it would stretch out flat, right? But everything would gather in the back and the tension would be all up in the armpits and the shoulders. In the back, you would see all the stuff gathered. But if I were to go, it would straighten out on the back, but there'd be all kinds of points of tension radiating from there and gathering in the front. Does that make any sense? Okay? Think about it sort of like, almost like liquid, Where it's coming from is where the most line action is going to be. The farther away it gets, the less you worry about radiating stuff. We're getting the wrap up? Wrap up? Okay, you guys, we're getting the wrap up. I want to thank you all for coming. I am up in the dealer's room. Please come visit me. And if you have any more questions, just let me know. You guys were great. Go have a great rest of the con. Bye-bye.